Hey guys, I thought I would just talk about the coding unit. Okay, so in Unit 4 coding, we are playing around with some text-based languages. So Python in particular is the one I'm showing you. So you want to work your way through this unit by watching all these videos. And they just explain to you kind of what the programming language is like and how to solve some math problems using it. Now, the best way to do this is to just go for it. So, you know what? Let me leave this. To do that, just open up a browser and type Python online and just grab a program. This one, you can share it with me, this online-python.com. It's kind of a good one to use. Just erase all this. And this top screen is where you can just play around with figuring it out. So yeah, you can try the problems. You can try these practice questions by using some blocks of code. You want to work your way through all of these problems nice and slowly. It's a little bit weird, so maybe you have to watch them a few times and try some of these practice questions. Maybe try even writing this program to see if you can make it work. If you ever want to send me your code, you can send me some screenshots or you can hit share and grab this URL and send me the code, and I can check your stuff out if you ever have questions. But let me show you about the project. So the project is two options. You can do option 1, or you can do option 2, or you can do both. And it's just to show me that you've learned some things about Python or whatever language you've chosen to use. Okay, so let me walk you through option 1. So you're writing a program for calculating air temperatures at various altitudes. So there's this crazy formula that calculates air temperatures. So the temperature equals the ground temperature minus the altitude. Altitude minus elevation and divided by 500. So for example, if you wanted to do this, you have to write the program. So you would go into your Python calculator and you would write the program. So you would say, prompt the user to input the elevation of the desired location. So you could say, maybe we'll use E for elevation. So I could do I'm going to use these lines of code to just organize. So I'm going to say I'm going to be asking the user for elevation, and then I'll do it. So I'll say E is equal to, I'm going to say float. So I just want any number. It could be a decimal, whatever. I could say integer. I could say whatever I want the number to be. Then I'm going to say input because I want them to input something. Enter the elevation. Okay. Then I want to prompt the user to input the temperature at the ground level. So then maybe I'll say, ask user for temperature at ground level. And then I'll, do all that. I don't want to show you the whole answer to this question, but I would just work my way through this code, write one on here. So after I got all these user inputs, I've got 3 user inputs, then I want to actually calculate the temperature using this formula. So then once I've asked them for all this stuff, I would type my actual equation. So T equals E plus A, whatever the formula is. I'm not going to do it right now, but then I would want to print my results. And I could test I could hit run and see if it works. Elevation 200. The answer is 200. So this is not the right equation, but you know what I mean? Just play around with it and make sure it works. So yeah, that's for the first part. And then it says, use your program to determine the air temperature over the town of Simcoe, which has an elevation of 735 feet, altitude of 5,500 feet above sea level when the ground temperature is 28.5. So then you would, so in my opinion, once you've finished your code, I would grab this link, copy that code. I might open up a Word doc and say, coding project. And I've done option 1. Link to the code. And then I can pop the link in. And then maybe I will say link to the answer for part, what is that? E. So maybe I'll input this stuff like it said the elevation is 735. So now I'll actually run it and I'll type in 735. Obviously, I didn't write the whole program, but if it was like temperature and altitude, I would put in what it tells me to do here. And then I would just share the code once it's done. Copy that, share that code. And then that's it. That's the whole project. So, and I've just popped it on in a Word doc, just saying the link to the code and the link to the answer for part E, so that I'm able to click on your links and it will open up for me and then I can see your code. I think that's the easiest. The other thing you could do is screenshot them if you're not using one that's easy to share. So a screenshot could also work. If you decide to do option 2, you have to order these blocks in the correct sequence. So you could still do this on Word. So option 2, you could just like screenshot, okay, which one do I think is first? Maybe I think the first one is set total equal to 0. And this, I'm not saying this is right. And then I'll say, okay, which one do I think is next? Read number from user. So whatever, like you're just screenshotting and putting them in the correct order. Then it says create the program above, but modify it so the user can specify how many numbers will be averaged. Because in this one, that it's averaging 5 numbers that are entered by the user. So you want to like modify the program so that it can be whichever you want. So you would go back to this and you would write a program that would average numbers. So you would want to ask the user. So like maybe your first thing is going to be n equals input, how many numbers do you want to average? So that we know that right off the bat how many numbers they want to average. And that's going to be an integer, probably, right? Like you're not going to have a decimal. And then, you'll have to go through and figure that out. But then you can share this code with me. Grab the link. So you'll have your ordered code, and then you'll have a link to your code. So that's how you would do the coding project, if that makes sense. And then you can submit it right in the assignment folder. And there is a rubric if you want to know how you get marked on it. So for problem 1 and for problem 2, whichever one you decide to do. That's how I'm going to mark it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So it shouldn't take too long unless you're having a really hard time with coding, in which case just reach out. Let me know if I can help. And then when you're totally done coding, if you notice that you didn't do well on your algebra test and you want to try again, there's a link to a new test. But make sure you go into quizzes and you find the algebra test, Unit 3 algebra test. I can't do this because I'm in my teacher screen, and then you click on it and you click on feedback and you look through your test to see what you got wrong, because the retest has some similarities. So you want to see how you did on your algebra test. Then you want to try it again. You're totally welcome to. And then on Friday, if you're ready to start measurement and geometry, you can start it. If you're not ready, wait till Monday. That's totally fine. Okay, let me know if you guys need any help.